Let's start from the beginning. Imagine the sun shrinking down to a size so small it could fit in your palm. That's how tiny it would become if it were to turn into a black hole. Incredible, isn't it? It would actually be about 3.7 miles wide. All the mass of the sun compressed into such a small space. Black holes are incredibly dense and heavy, warping space-time itself. But what if the sun were to become one? Surprisingly, the planet's orbits wouldn't change. Now, let's talk about what would happen next. First off, temperature on Earth. Without the sun's light and heat, Earth would start cooling rapidly. Within just a week, the average surface temperature would plunge to a bone-chilling -73 degrees Celsius, or about -100 degrees Fahrenheit, causing oceans to freeze near the surface. Fast forward a year, and the situation gets even worse. Earth's surface temperature could fall as low as -240 degrees Celsius, which is almost as cold as outer space. Life, as we know it, wouldn't stand a chance. While humans might figure out how to survive underground or with some pretty advanced technology for a while, the Earth would eventually turn into a frozen wasteland.
What would we see from Earth?
What would we see from Earth? Well, the sun turning into a black hole wouldn't be visible in the usual sense. Black holes don't emit light, so we wouldn't see the sun at all anymore. Instead, after about 8 minutes, the time it takes for light from the sun to reach us, everything would go dark. Even during the day, the sky would be pitch black. We wouldn't see the black hole directly, but we might notice something else: the way light bends around it. That's called gravitational lensing. The black hole could warp the light from stars and galaxies behind it, making the night sky look strange and distorted around where the sun used to be. Now, let's not forget about the solar wind and radiation. The sun constantly sends out streams of charged particles, called solar wind, that interact with Earth's magnetic field. But if the sun became a black hole, this solar wind would vanish. No more auroras lighting up the poles. Earth's atmosphere without the sun's energy would start to cool and thin out over time.
Okay, so this is starting to sound like the end of the world. Frozen oceans, no sunlight, a pitch black sky with strange distortions, and Earth becoming a lifeless rock. It's almost like a scene from a sci-fi horror movie, right? A black hole where the sun used to be, swallowing up everything. Is this really how it all ends?
But here's the good news. Don't panic just yet. The sun doesn't have enough mass to collapse into a black hole. Instead, it will quietly fade away over the next few billion years. In about 5 billion years, the sun will expand into a red giant, shedding its outer layers, and eventually it will shrink down into a white dwarf, a tiny, incredibly dense remnant of what was once our star. So, while the sun's fate may seem dramatic, it's actually a slow, peaceful transformation that will take place long, long after we're gone.